What's going on, everybody? Yeah, I just wanted to get on here today and show you guys how to register a track, some music with a PRO, a performance rights organization. Every country has these pros, and in music, really to collect broadcast royalties, you have to register it with a pro. In the United States, there's three of them, which is BMI, ASCAP, and I think CSEC. I think this is the third one. Every country has their own performance rights group, and kind of their role is it's a collection of royalties, and it's the only way you can really get TV royalties. If you get music and music publishing and licensing, and you get something on TV, the only way to collect royalties from that is from your pro. And so I wanted to show how to go about doing that. I use BMI, for all my music, and I think of the three in the United States, it was free to get signed up with them. If you're not signed up, I definitely recommend doing that. If you're like an indie musician, if you're independent, publishing type thing. If you're signing exclusive deals with publishing, your publisher will more than likely register these tracks for you. But if you're going to go about doing like non-exclusive licensing, then it's probably in your best interest for you to do it yourself. And so what you need to do is basically sign up. I think for BMI, it used to be free. I'm not sure if it still is. It probably is. You just click the creators button. I can throw their link in the description if you guys wanted to join, or you can just type it in yourself. It's only it's a simple URL. It's just bmi.com. And so once you click on the creators button, then you just go to join BMI and kind of fill out the information and get going. But if you're already a member, you get that going. You're just going to want to click log in, which I've already done now. And registering a new track is really easy, and it's not. A lot of people get it confused with maybe like an ad rev or some like digital fingerprinting, for audio, for music. Ad rev will like trigger copyright claims on YouTube. This does not. It basically is just set up so that when your music is used in TV or film or any type of that kind of broadcast medium, when they make the show, they got to fill out these cue sheets, and on those cue sheets they use your song title, your name, and some other information to get the royalties all figured out. And and it's not a digital fingerprinting thing. You got the other one that's like TuneSat, which that is a service where you upload and they digitally fingerprint your music and just run it continuously against all these different TV channels. And it's kind of annoying actually, because TuneSat's pretty expensive, and I had like a trial membership with them, and they ended up picking up some usages of like my tracks on all these different like PBS networks and all these other different things, and they never actually I never got any royalties from that. So they never filled out their cue sheet, and for whatever reason, like BMI and a lot of these other pros, they don't recognize TuneSat detections as being authentic, which is makes TuneSat kind of a waste of money in my opinion. But but just by doing this is just basically for cue sheets and television and broadcast usages. And so what you're going to do is you're going to log in, and you're just going to click works registration. And let me log in again. And all you're going to do is click add new work. And then basically you have two options um, when registering a track. If you're doing classical music, um, you would click this option. But I'm just going to do this video for all the other genres of music, just because it's probably a little bit more popular and common. And so you're just going to click that little button and click next. And I'll just make up a title, make up a track. I don't think it's going to matter. Maybe, who knows. So we'll just do showcasing or showing a demo. And we're just for fun here, we'll put 3 minutes and 33 seconds. Or let's do 4 minutes and 44 seconds. If you guys are getting any of these synchronicity numbers, that might trigger some people. But like for work content, if it's just like music and no lyrics, you're just gonna click music only. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you have some lyrics, you can put the lyrics in there too, and the language. And then if you had an alternative title, like if you did like a music loop, and this is like something if you're into the music publishing, where there's multiple like cuts, edits, like a 15-second, 30-second, 60 second, 1 minute, whatever. You can put all those alternative titles in this area. And you're just gonna click next. And then kind of walking through this thing here, is this work an arrangement of a public domain work or foreign lyric version of another work? You have to, if it applies to you. It's not going to apply to this video here, so no. Does this work contain samples or medleys? You're probably just going to click no. Unless you did use some samples, and the thing about that, you're gonna have to get into it yourself with kind of your situation, but and that kind of boils down to doing like covers and like just if you're just going to cut somebody's melody out of a track and like remix something. I would just put no. It's just because but do whatever you want. Are there any publishers on this work? This kind of goes to that same idea. If you have a non-exclusive publishing deal, which means that you can have your music with multiple publishing people, and basically you still retain your rights to it. You're gonna click no if you're planning on getting this into music publishing non-exclusively. If you're doing exclusive publishing deals with people, a lot of times they'll register the track for you. But for this case, we're just going to put no. If you're going to put yes, then I think it gives you an option to put the publisher's information in there. And then basically at this stage here, BMI, for some reason, you got to put 200% for the writer share, because the way they break it down, it's like you would think that it would be 100%, but it's just odd the way they do it. I don't know if other pros do this too, where you have to put 200%, but it's basically for 50% for the writers, 50% for the publisher share. But since you aren't associated with the publisher and with this type of registration, you get the writer share and the publisher share, which each one of these they give 100 to instead of 50-50. And that point you get almost done. You click next. Are there any artists? Are there any recordings? Was this work created for film, TV, theater, music library? It all just depends on what you're doing. Just for this example, we're going to click no for all of those. And then you have this option here to kind of go back and edit anything if it's not correct. And then you just click that little box, hit submit. And you have successfully submitted your work registration, and so I'm going to return to in processing works. You can see its status right there, so it's submitted. And if you're curious too about some of these publishing things, there's a thing in music publishing called like retitling. You pull up my works catalog here and show you examples of this. So if you got basically a non-exclusive deal, the way a lot of the publishing people for non-exclusive deals collect their royalties is they retitle the music. And so that way, if they get a sync license, which is the upfront license, then they're able to collect back-end royalties, because when they fill out the cue sheets, when they do the TV shows, they're going to put this amended title on that cue sheet, and so that way that they'll split the royalties. And so if you're curious about kind of retitling, that used to be a big deal, but it is pretty common anymore. It is kind of what it is. But other than that, I just want to do a quick video showing how you register a track with a performance rights organization, to collect royalties for when your music gets on TV and all that kind of broadcast usage. And just by doing this, it has nothing to do with like a copyright digital match on YouTube or anything like that. You don't even upload your music to this. You just fill out that paperwork. If you wanted to get into some of that kind of stuff where you're digitally fingerprinting your music, that'd be more like an ad rev type of service, or a TuneSat that would actually upload the music, and then they do the I don't know how they do it, but they just fingerprint it somehow. And and this is a little bit different too than like a copyright, where you actually send something to the government and get your copyrights and everything like that. This is only for collecting performance royalties. They also have digital royalties with what is their name? Sound Exchange. It's the same type of process. A lot of times if you're signing label deals or publishing deals exclusively, a lot of times those guys will do all that kind of stuff for you. But if you're doing music independently, you fill this kind of stuff out and just kind of tap some of those revenue streams. Because with music, it's like a lot of little revenue streams. A little bit from here, a little bit from there, a little bit from everywhere. And it all starts to add up over time. But I just wanted to show you guys how to do that. So appreciate you guys liking, sharing, subscribing, and checking out the video. And other than that, have a good rest of your day, and God bless.